Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, June 21st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So first stock here, ticker symbol VCIG, absolutely monster explosion here. And after the explosion, the price has now started to trend downwards here a little bit. But that's where the key dynamic comes from, because I assure you, I'm not trying to impress you or imply that that's a great discovery on my part or a special talent. A lot of people have drawn that trend line. And when a lot of people are watching the same things and wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there are no guarantees, my point here is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price does come back up to this line and gets a break up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That seems like a very plausible conclusion for me, just based on the simplicity of that trend line, and therefore the fact that a lot of breakout players are probably watching it. So if you like to play breakouts, if you like stocks down below $10, certainly keep an eye on this one. Next one, SPCE, which had a very rough move on Friday with a gap up and then just dropped and dropped and dropped. But as I talked about in that video that I did on Friday, what got interesting was at least the price started to go sideways. And I mean, what a turnaround, back up to the highs it goes. And that's also what creates the very interesting dynamic here. Same general idea that I just talked about. Got to think that a lot of people have noticed this $6 mark. And to be fair, as of right now, the price is indeed up above $6. So the breakout has occurred slightly, which brings about the always exciting question, is this breakout the start of something even bigger? Now think about that question. In order to ask that question, something worthwhile first needs to even happen. If nothing happens and it's not worth asking, it makes no sense to ask, oh, is this the start of something bigger? Because, well, nothing's happened. But in this situation, you do have the breakout, so something worthwhile has happened. So yeah, is this the breakout, the start of something much bigger? Like I said, certainly a very interesting and always exciting question to be asking. As far as levels of support are concerned, the newest level that I'd keep an eye on, more so the shorter term, right there around $5.55. And then from more of the overarching standpoint, keep an eye on that purple line down there, the 50-period moving average, right now valued at around, let's just call it $4.80. But yeah, in my opinion at least, the price is knocking on the door of that level of resistance. Can it break through? And then is it the start of something bigger? Let's see what happens. Next one, MULN, and yeah, this thing has completely not only gone back to where it started. So just as a quick little recap, the nice move started right here. That was the low, and then it made a beautiful, beautiful bounce. This was all occurring on very respectable volume, and then started to roll back over. So at this point, it became a question of, was this just a little pump and dump here, dead cat bounce? What exactly happened? But we now have our confirmation, because not only did the price go back to where it started, which was right here, but it has continued to drop and even is lower than where it started right here. So yes, as far as that very impressive move right there that was occurring on very impressive volume, that was all just one little dead cat bounce, little miniature pump and dump, whatever you want to call it, because the price is now at new lows. If there are any attempted recoveries, key level resistance remains up there, that purple line there, 50-period moving average, which is where the price was rejected from already. So yes, if the price does bounce, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's definitely a step in the right direction, but I wouldn't get too excited about it, because there should be really no genuine excitement unless the price can prove that it can break above that purple line and then stay above it. As far as levels of support are concerned, essentially just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop today, and that was down there at essentially the 15.5 cent mark. So 15.5 cents, next key level of support moving forward. But yeah, overall, like I said, as far as this chart is concerned, whatever you want to call it, dead cat bounce, little miniature pump and dump. Next one, FFIE, a savage move here. I mean, the chart was looking very nice. I mean, going into today, you had this nice pattern right here, nice bull pennant. I mean, all sorts of good things going on. And then just a brutal gap down. And it's not necessarily the gap down per se that made it so brutal. I mean, don't get me wrong, it definitely plays a role in it. But what I would say adds to the brutality is the fact that it couldn't even maintain above that pink line there, which is the famous 200-period moving average. It just continued to separate and fall further and further to the downside away from that line. So just a very rough day out there. So get rid of that as it served its purpose now. If there is any sort of attempted bounce back in the upwards direction, first key level of resistance is going to be right there. That 200-period moving average valued at 31 cents. And then as far as next potential areas of support are concerned, Got to squeeze things down here a little bit to look back further into the chart's history. And the next key level right there at the 25-cent mark. So keep an eye on 25 cents if the price does indeed continue down. But yeah, no need to beat around the bush. Just an absolutely brutal day after what had been a very strong looking chart. Next one, AMC, another rough move here. Again, not because it was red, but more so because of the fact that it has now broken down below that pink line, which you now know is that 200 period moving average. Going into today, I mean, think about it. It had done a great job holding strong on Friday afternoon, and then today it just could no longer hold, and the floodgates opened up, and down it went. Now, to be fair, there is a, let me delete this out of here because there is a nice little bounce right here that's occurring, so a little upwards channel. But from a pattern perspective, you have to ask yourself, well, what was happening before this upwards channel? And you had this big downwards move right there, which has now allowed a bear flag pattern to be drawn. Now, just because it's a bearish pattern doesn't mean for sure guaranteed the price is going downwards. My point here is, yeah, it's nice, but there's still a whole lot more work that needs to be done, with that next big bit of work being that 200 period moving average as that what I would expect to be a very stubborn level of resistance, currently valued at 468. If the price does break to the downside and roll back over through this pattern, then the next level of support at that point can be down here right at the $4.50 mark. But yeah, today definitely very rough. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and I got this one very wrong. On Friday, commented how, yeah, you kind of had this rising wedges pattern, and I mean, you got to think there's going to be some sort of pullback. I mean, Tesla's got to take at least a little bit of a breath, even if it's just a breath down to that red line right here. But no, Tesla said, Clay, we're going to make you look stupid. There are no breaths here. We do not believe in having any sort of pullbacks. We're going straight up, and even as I speak, last 30 minutes, you see down here, volume is pouring in. The price is pushing at highs. So the beast mode continues, and yeah, I guess just don't suggest that Tesla might pull back because it'll just punch you right in the face. But yeah, it's very, very strong. So as far as levels of support are concerned, because this is basically at blue sky breakouts right now, sure, you could pull back up a monthly chart and look back because we're at multi-month highs. But, from that angle of things, I think I'm more interested about levels of pullbacks than anything else at this point. So first key level of pullback, if this thing does decide it wants to act human and come down at least a little bit right there at $269. And then after that, next key level down there right around that point of $266. But yeah, no doubt about it. The beast mode continues, higher highs, higher lows. Tesla apparently does not believe in pulling back. Next one, MARA. Very, very impressive looking chart here. I mean, gapped up, had a nasty second 30-minute session right there. I mean, that was a pretty brutal move. Leveled out, and then from there, just never looked back. Just green candle after green candle after green candle. So very, very nice move there. So let's map out the first key level of support right there, which is that former breakup point right there at $10.70. If you're interested in more, so maybe an aggressive pullback point, then right around $11.20 is a potentially interesting level. As far as resistances are concerned, got to squeeze this thing down here quite a bit. And I know it's hard to see, but we're going way back on the chart's history. There we go. So next key overarching level of resistance is going to be right up here at $11.80, which is right there. And then I better add in one more just in case because this thing's been quite the beast. And then after $11.80, right up there at $12.30. But all in all, I mean, as you saw, essentially straight up today. So does this momentum carry it into these next battlegrounds? Looking like it seems very reasonable at this point. Next one, PLTR, and going to go ahead and bring back a self-fulfilling prophecy trend line because at this point, you got to think that everybody and their brother's uncle has drawn that trend line. I mean, check it out. Just right there, boom, right there, boom. And then today, big spike up, boom, rejected by that level. So if this thing does try to turn around, then like I said, you got to think everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching that trend line and wondering, can the price break through there? Which, again, makes no guarantees, but it makes it very plausible to think that there is a very real component of a potential self-fulfilling prophecy there where people are buying just because, oh, look, finally that level is breaking out, and oh, look, I'm a breakout player. I'm supposed to be buying. in terms of levels of support. If this thing does pull back some more, then nothing complicated here. I'd keep a very close eye on that pink line, which, as I've said before, you now know is the 200 period moving average, currently valid at, we'll just call it 1535. But yeah, most interesting dynamic in this one, just because I think it sticks out like such a sore thumb right up there at that overarching trend line. Next one, AMD, and the level that I've talked about before are still all pertaining, but the one is much more relevant now, which makes it relatively interesting here. So the first level, that's not nothing new, but just show you that the down pull or the pullback, the downtrend, whatever you want to call it here, it's remaining pretty steep because this is a relatively steep trend line. Now, of course, it could be even steeper, but it does have a pretty narrow angle to it. So as long as the price does stay below that level right there, then that is one that I would definitely say, tells us that the pullback right now is fully in the bearish control. So keep a close eye on that. And then the level that I mentioned earlier that is now going to be looking like it's relevant right here at, let's just call it the $116 mark. Going back through the history of things. Let's make sure my mug's not, no, there we go, we're good. You can see right there, held as support, held as support, held as support, somewhat close, held as support. So not just a question of does this make a move down, and then all the bounce players, so not necessarily breakout players, but bounce players are going to be saying, hey, this thing has essentially bounced 4 times before. Can we get number 5? And that'll be the big question mark moving forward. So a lot of people are going to be watching 116 moving forward. So let's see what happens with it. Next, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, this one will also go up. Biggest difference is that it just allows you access at a much lower price point. Makes it a very popular ETF. And overall, charts hanging in there, drop down here a little bit today, but what's interesting is check out this green line. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from Friday, but talked about that green line being a level of support. And when that green level was broken, the floodgates opened up, nasty move here. But once the price reclaimed that level, look what that green line went back to doing. Look at that. I mean, beautiful. And if you don't, I'm not offended if you don't believe me, if you think I just put that green line in there before I, started this video. But all you got to do is go back, watch Friday's video. Like I said, not offended at all. A lot of sketchy stuff out there. But I mean, check it out. Price went back above there and then just started to respect that level once again as support. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Get signed up for that class on Thursday because charts are truly not a perfect tool, but a very valuable tool. So needless to say, in the very near term, $40.40 is going to be that first key level of support to continue to watch. If the price does break down through there, the next key level right down there at $39.60. If this price continues to bounce upwards, then like I said, nothing new here. Still all about that level right up there at about $42. But overall, how things started off, especially during that 30-minute period right there, nice recovery today, nice consolidation. So we'll see if this is the leading indicator of another attempt to get back up there at that $42 mark and do battle with it. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the class. As I said earlier, it'll be very soon, Thursday, June 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do 2 things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment below. Just tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow, or just give me a smiley face emoji. But those 2 things communicate to me that you're enjoying. And as long as I know that you are enjoying, I will continue to put the time and effort to get this content out to you. So again, go get signed up for that class, hit the like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.